Hi everybody, so I am currently making my way through Never by Jessa, and it is so hard for me to get through because there are just so many things about this book that I just kind of don't like, and it makes me feel icky to read about these things, especially in what is supposed to be like a magical book. And so that sparked the debate for today's video. I just want to have a discussion about ethics and books and morals, and just kind of talk about the crazy things that I have read in books and if it's really okay to have that. So let's get started. I would love if you could give me your 2 cents down below because I'm really interested in just having this discussion, and let's get started. So basically what is going on in this book, it is not a Peter Pan retelling, but it's based on Peter Pan. And so Wendy's granddaughter is like going into Neverland and she meets Peter and Hook, and they're like obsessed with her. Basically it's kind of like a love triangle, but not really, because it's written really weirdly and oddly so far. I'm only 100 pages into it, so hopefully it gets better. I have faith because I love Magnolia Parks. But anyways, she's 17 years old and she's like, but I'm almost gonna be 18, and Hook and Peter Pan are like in their 20s, and so they're kind of waiting for her to turn 18 so they can like do stuff with her. And I'm like, that is just horrible. That just feels super wrong. But then I'm like, what about other books, like even like the Magnolia Park series that Jessa Hastings wrote? It's like super toxic the whole time, but the whole time I'm like stuck reading the book. I'm obsessed with it. I think it is so good. But then I'm also like, should I really be glorifying these relationships? And the answer is no. But then I think about the books that brought me back into reading, which were Colleen Hoover, and one of the first books I read by her was Ugly Love. And if you don't know about that book, or you haven't read that book before, please don't. It is not very good. But also the main character falls in love with his stepsister. Like, that is so weird. Like, no. Why did I give that book a 5 stars when I first read it? I don't know. I was hooked. I thought it was amazing. I thought it was this great literary feat, and it just wasn't, looking back on it. So I'm like, this is really interesting that so many people recommend these books, and the books that we connect with a lot of the times have some pretty crazy things in it. There's this book, which is A Certain Hunger, which is about cannibalism, and I haven't read it yet, but I'm pretty sure that when I do read it and I read about this woman killing people and eating them, I'm going to be rooting for her. So what did that say about me? One of my favorite books that I read this year was Hot House Flower, which is a book in the Calloway Sisters series, and this book examines an age gap relationship with a girl that just turned 18 years old. The guy is like 25 years old, and he's always had a thing for the girl. And this book starts when she just turned 18 and they have a romance, and I ate this book up. It was so good. Like, I would recommend this whole series, and this book is just so good. It's my favorite in a 10 book long series. And so I'm sure I could give you more examples and more examples of even more screwed up things, like The Haunting and Hunting Adeline duology, which was the most messed up thing I've ever read. And I was intrigued, okay? I really was. And that is crazy because somebody has to sit down and think of these horrible things that have to come into their mind, and then they write it, and then a lot of people read it and connect with it, and it's just crazy. It's just a crazy discussion to have. Is it okay to like and recommend and read these books that have horrible things in them? I don't know. I think that a lot of us live in the confines of a socially acceptable box of things that we have to do and actions that we have to take, and what is okay to say and what isn't okay to say. We're never really allowed to just have impulsive thoughts and act on our impulsive decisions, and I think that these crazy books where we read them and then we stop to think and we're like, whoa, like this is so wrong. I think that it's just a way to explore things that we would never be able to explore in real life, or just thoughts that are articulated by other people that were like, wow, like other people are equally as screwed up as us, or enjoy the same screwed up things as we are. Or maybe it's intriguing, or maybe we read it to feel the horror of why this wouldn't be allowed in real life. I think it's really interesting. Like, I would love to do a whole video on Colleen Hoover, and I know it's been done before, but I, like, cannot believe that I gave all of her books 5 stars when I read them. Because now that my tastes have been expanded, I would probably give all of them 1 to 2 stars or DNF them if I read them now. Like, I'm scared to dive back, and that was only 2 years ago. Like, that is just so crazy to me how reading taste can expand. And I think that just the power of words, because I think a lot of people just don't, they say they don't like reading because we've only been exposed to classics or very particular types of literature growing up. So then when we read a book that's like super fast paced and easy to read, even though there's some really screwed up things in it, we're like, oh my god, this is amazing, 5 stars. And then we dive deeper into the world of literature and refine our tastes more and have more life experiences and know like what's wrong and what's not. Like, it's not okay to have a relationship with your stepsister, and maybe that is weird. We realize that there's just a lot of content out in the world, and it just sparks a really interesting debate of what is okay and what isn't okay. But also, should books only be written to spread a certain message? And there are some authors that do write books and the whole thing feels super political and like it is meant for a purpose, and sometimes I connect with those books and a lot of times I don't, because I feel like it's just like throwing propaganda in my face. But should you only write a book if you have an important message to say? I think no, because I read to escape and I read to have a good time, and so I don't love books that are only written with certain messages in place. But sometimes we find a book that we super connect with and it is entertaining, but it also has a message and it's great. And those books are like Yellowface by R. Kwong. Love that book. But also some people think that it's too propaganda heavy, and I get it. So to answer my question that I posed in the first place of, is there an ethical limit of what should be put in books? I think the answer is honestly complicated because there's so many different things that go into it. Should I be able to write from the perspective of somebody that's a completely different race than me? I don't know. I don't know the answer to these questions, but I think that it is a really good conversation starter and it's a really good thing to think about. And it's just something that I'll probably have more refined taste and opinions on as the years go forward. But let me know what you think down below, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.